Hi, this is Michelle Pennick with the Build Idaho team, coming to you with a lender from the Treasure Valley that I know, like, and trust here, Phil Bergeson with Axon Mortgage. Now, one of the reasons I like to work with Phil is he is a mortgage broker, and so he has access to products and services that a lot of traditional lenders do not. Now, with the way the market is, it's gotten a little crazy. Interest rates literally doubled in 2022. So as we go into 2023, folks want to know what that means for their payment. You know, is it a good time to buy? Just what do the interest rates mean for them? So there's a lot that we can cover, but there's three main points that I want to touch on today. And we'll just bring you back for some more information and just keep pulling it out of you. But the three things I want to cover are assumable loans, rate buy downs, and then Phil, if you could just get your crystal ball, I would love to know what you predict for the first quarter.
You know, I left that in the car, but
we just go get it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, Michelle, I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about this. Is very important topics as well. It impacts a lot of people.
Yeah.
So if we could just start maybe with where the trend is going in 2023. So with 2022, we know interest rates were a problem for a lot of people, right? Creating enormous affordability challenges for buyers, causing buyers to pull back, and we know that that ultimately went downhill to sellers too, creating issues for sellers as they didn't have all the buyers in the market to be able to sell their homes what their homes were worth, right? So the main reason for the historic rise in interest rates was inflation. And inflation got worse and worse and worse as the months went on in 2022. The worst numbers we've seen in 40 plus years.
40 plus years,
It's a long time.
Yeah, interest rates literally doubled. What I do like to tell people though is that, you know, remind them that they are normal. What wasn't normal that happened was they went up so fast, and like you said,
Absolutely.
Because of inflation.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, well, I'm sorry, continue your
Well, we've seen some relief since November when numbers for inflation started to come down a little bit for the first time in an entire year, right? So we saw interest rates peak in October, and for the last couple months, we've seen some relief there, and we're expecting that to continue through the first couple quarters of this year, getting us to a point that's more normal towards the end of this year in an interest rate environment that's a little bit more traditional, more normal, not the crazy highs, but not the crazy lows that we had with a global pandemic either.
I, for one, am ready to be off the roller coaster, so that is good news to hear.
Absolutely.
So let's just talk about assumable financing. What is that? We're seeing more of that in MLS listings. If you could just touch on that quickly.
Yeah, assumable loans could be a fantastic option for buyers. Some mortgages, like FHA or VA loans, you can assume those loans. What that means is you get to take over their current mortgage balance, their current loan terms. So they might only have 27, 26, 25 years left on their loan, whatever it might be. You also importantly get to take over their current interest rate. And if these people bought a home in 2020 or 2021, we're talking a very, very low interest rate that you'd be assuming.
Okay, but that's only for VA or FHA loans, just to clarify.
Very important point that you brought there. Yep, so not every loan is assumable. So you as the buyer would need to reach out and connect with the loan servicer currently for that loan to discuss the eligibility requirements as well.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's talk about rate buy downs. We're seeing that more. That's become a popular trend as interest rates are, you know, making people's payments higher. So what is a rate buy down, and what can that ultimately do for buyers?
Absolutely, and it's a fantastic tool for buyers, especially in this environment. So temporary rate buy down does temporarily push your interest rate down, depending on whether you get a 1.0, a 2.1, or a 3.21 temporary rate buy down. And if you got a 2.1 buy down, it's all going to be seller paid, so that's a good thing, through seller concession. A 2.1 buy down means your interest rate will be 2 points lower in the first year, and then in year 2, your rate is still 1% lower, so you're still having savings all the way through the second year. And the third year is when your rate and your payments go back to the normal amount for the rest of the term. But a 3.21 buy down, for those people that feel they missed out on the really low interest rates of 2020 and 2021, if you get into a 3.21 buy down, that first year your rate is 3% lower than it would be in today's market otherwise. So lots of savings there.
Okay, and what is something like that cost?
So generally speaking, with a normal purchase, a normal loan amount size, somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000, a 2.1 buy down is probably going to cost The seller, in terms of seller credits, somewhere between $7,000 or $8,000 or $9,000.
Okay.
The 321, same scenario, going to cost somewhere around $17,000 or $18,000.
Okay. And so this is something that the seller has to pay for. The buyer can't say, I want to buy my rate down to 4%.
That's correct. The buyer can pay at closing to buy the rate down permanently for 30 years.
Okay.
But the seller is going to pay to cover that temporary rate buy down for the first couple years.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fantastic.
People are already calling about interest
People
rates.
already
Here,
calling.
so,
They're so
yeah.
excited. Phones are ringing off the hook. Okay. All right. Lastly, that crystal ball. What do you see happening in the first quarter? I know a lot could happen over the year, but what have you? I know you study behind the scenes and the.
Well, I will tell you, the people that we rely on most for these types of predictions, so Barry Habib, a very, very well-respected name and person out there with mortgage rates, we are looking at rates slowly getting their way back towards more of a 5% environment versus where they were over 7% in October.
Okay. All right. Well, 5% sounds good. I mean, considering they got all the way up to 7% and with prices coming down. All right. Well, that's it. Phil, thank you again. Appreciate your expertise. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Phil. We'd love to help you with your home search.